Now sprinklers can be pretty frustrating when they break because as you're looking at the one here you might think there's no problem, and I thought the same until I started to notice all those dead patches of grass and I wasn't sure if it was insects, my kids, or something else, and then I realized that this sprinkler head isn't moving at all and it's probably been like this for a few weeks, so now I realized I had to replace it. Now for a lot of people replacing a sprinkler head just seems like a daunting task, but I'm going to show you how I replace sprinkler heads. I do it right in place, no digging, and it's quick and easy, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it step by step so that you can do the same. First thing I like to do, especially when a head's been in the ground a long time like this one, is just grab my weed whacker. I'm going to trim up the grass, but I'm going to burn up some of the grass around the head. This just exposes a little bit better and makes it simpler to work on. And like I said, this thing is 20 years old, so it's really embedded in the ground. It's the original head and original nozzle, so it's given a good service life, and it does pop up, but as I said earlier, it won't complete a full rotation and it needs to be replaced. Now just using your hands, you want to pull back the turf that's around the sprinkler head. You can just pry it back, and this is especially important if the head's been in there for a long time and the grass is really tight around it. And here's the trick that saves a lot of time. Take your new sprinkler head and go find a pair of pliers or wrench that has grips like these that you can have inserted into the top of the sprinkler, and you can see there how those grips match right up with those slots on the sprinkler head. And now we're going to do that same thing to the one on the ground. We're going to put them in, but you're not going to be able to just turn it like this because those heads are in there really tight. So take a second pair of pliers or a wrench, hold the top part of the first one, and just start to turn. And you can see you get an enormous amount of turning power while you're holding onto it, and you can slowly unscrew the head in place without having any special tools. And just keep rotating it until the collar is totally loose, and then you'll eventually be able to just pull the sprinkler right out of the ground. And you want to be careful and just kind of pull it straight up to avoid getting too much dirt inside the sprinkler. And now what you're left with is the body of the sprinkler is still on the ground, and you just need to replace the inside portion because that's what does all the work in the sprinkler. In this method obviously only works if you get the exact style sprinkler head, but the good news is pretty much any head can be replaced today, so it's not a problem to get the exact same model that you already have. Now when I put this in the ground, it's kind of important how you point the sprinkler. I try to set it so that the nozzle is kind of pointing in about the middle of where the head's going to spray. Now if you put it in the ground and the head's just going to rotate 360, then it doesn't matter so much. But you'll want to get it in the ground, start to tighten that collar up, and then once it connects, you're going to grab those same pliers and do the reverse. You're just going to tighten it back up. And once it starts to get snug, it's okay to go ahead and use that second wrench again to really tighten it up. And this is where things get important. You do want to tighten it snugly, but don't go crazy tightening it because you can break the plastic. Finally, you're going to need to make some final adjustments on your sprinkler pattern, but the first important step is getting this thing in the ground, tightening it up, and then again, you can fool with those adjustments afterwards, and if you need to adjust the right stop, which is just the far end of the water pattern, you can go ahead and put that same plier in the ground and rotate the head a little bit more to get it where you want it to be. And now with the sprinkler back in the ground, your water's up and running, you want to check it to make sure you don't have any big leaks. You can make those final adjustments based on your manufacturer's directions, and I do have a couple of other videos on sprinklers that may help you make those adjustments as well. But this is generally what most people pay somebody for because it just seems like a lot of work. And now that we're done, we can just sort of push that dirt back, and with the sprinkler head right here, the grass is going to fill right back in no time. So hopefully this video gave you a good tip that you can really learn. You can replace the sprinkler yourself in short order and not have to pay anybody for the job. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and stay tuned for more videos coming up.